So immediately, first things first, I want to apologize for the tripod in the way. The stand that I was using that clamps to my desk and then just kind of allows my phone to just kind of hover over the frame is now currently being used for my ring light. You can kind of see it's a little bit brighter over here than over here. That's because I have my ring light over here and it's being used to hold that up. So I very much apologize for that, but this is the deck profile. You can already see maybe one of the spicy tech choices. We'll get into that. But this is a 45 card main deck. With that being said, we're gonna get right on into this. So starting off with the monsters, of course, as usual, and like I have been since the start, we are on 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon. This is kind of the standard stuff that I don't think anyone is really ever changing. 3 Sage, 3 Maiden, 3 Wishes, and I am doing 1 Neo Kaiser in the main deck. I wanted to free up a second extra deck slot. And we'll get into what card that is in a moment. I know, keeping you guys on your toes. Again, standard stuff. 1 Roar, 1 Mausoleum, 1 Majesty, and 1 True Light. Aside from maybe the Neo Kaiser, I don't know any reason you would play anything other than this. This is absolutely perfect. I don't know who has, but I've heard talk of people cutting down to 2 Wishes. If you do that, you're insane. Anywho, getting into the primite engine now, we are on 3 Ether Barrel, 3 Load, again, this is standard, and 1 Drill Beam. You don't need 2. I was thinking about 2 for a while. You don't need it. You're able to recycle it enough, and when it gets to a point where, especially if you have Tyrant Dragon setting a trap and setting Drill Beam over and over again, if you get to that point, you're winning. You're just winning from there. I'm on 1 Magnamut now. I think there was a point where I was playing Druisworm as well. I just didn't really like it that much. It's nice to have. Feel free if you want. If you don't like Neo Kaiser, I would say take that out. Put in a second Seals in the extra deck, and then put in a Druisworm if you really like Druisworm, or if the meta changes to where having 2 Bestials is nice. But right now, I just don't really think it's worth it. That is all for the quote-unquote engine. Getting into the board breakers, hand traps, etc. We're going Nibiru in the main, 3 Nib, 3 Ash, 3 Bell, 3 Droll, the searchable effect Veiler, and in the main I do run 1 Duster and 1 Talents. These are primarily for Yummy, I'm gonna be honest, but also some of the Orcus stuff. And then rounding out the main deck, we are on 3 Super Poly, I know, and 3 Imperm. So, Super Poly, interesting choice, I know. This is largely to clear out the opponent's Herald, if they're on Yummy. That is largely what this is for the Herald. Let's get on in to the extra deck. So, extra deck is 1 Neo Ultimate, 2 Tyrant. For Super Poly targets, we are on Starving, Garura, and Mud Dragon. I'm going to be honest, I think there's a world where you cut Mud Dragon just because A lot of the top decks right now are running same attribute and same type. But for something like, it's irrelevant for the most part now, but like any Yugioh related thing, it's nice to have, I guess. We are on 2 Spirit Synchro and 1 Ultimate Spirit. That's more stuff that I don't ever see changing. To summon off with a Spirit, we are on Lightstorm and Ancient Fairy Life. I do believe in my last profile, I was running the Crimson Dragon package with the Crimson Dragon and I think Cipher Dragon. I found that it just wasn't very consistent. Blue Eyes it's a deck that can put out some crazy high power and insane numbers and good monsters if it goes interrupted. The problem becomes when it becomes interrupted. Excuse me. And even when you do get those hands that can put up a board, or yeah, they'll get interrupted. But then when your opponent doesn't have any interruptions, that's when you're drawing things like Blue Eyes, 2 Imperm, and a Ghost Bell. Like, it's just so inconsistent and not, like, practical, really. Definitely, I think the way to play Blue Eyes is mid-range, control the board, don't do any of the stupid double spirit BS. Maybe there's a world where if you are going first and you know you're going into a heavy spell and trap based deck, I can't think of any. But if you know that your opponent is going to set 5 pass, maybe there's a world where you try and go double spirit, and that way you can tag both of them out into the ultimate spirit for a Omni Negate and the Light Storm to pop back row, because that's 3 back row, I believe, that you're going to be able to pop, plus an Omni Negate. Maybe there's a world where that's the case, but again, super unlikely. For the last synchro, I am on Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon. This is for if I get Nibiru'd or if I use my Nib on my opponent. You can make this with the token or Nibiru itself plus a level 1. Or you could also just hard make this with Blue Eyes and Neo Kaiser. Onto the links. I am on 2 Spirit Links. And I am on 1 Spheres. I think 2 Spirit Links is kind of mandatory. Maybe there's a world where you cut down to 1, but I mean, 1 Kashtira Unicorn and you're kind of screwed after that. That is it for the extra deck. Moving on to the side deck. And this is where I think possibly my most insane take is 3 Fenrir. So what would be the best way to say this? I have had bad luck with this deck going against Yummy. And I know that sounds crazy. I mean, I've got the Blue Eyes Spirit Synchro monster. Yummy should be bowing down to me and fearing me. The problem is they always have an answer. There is always something that they can do to either force me to have to tag out the Spirit Dragon, otherwise it's just going to get removed anyway, or they just play under it until they can beat over it. They always have something that they're able to do, and, you know, I just needed a way to get rid of their monsters, and in particular the field spell. Because this banishes face down, meaning that Marshmallow and any other card that recurs from banishment cannot recur the field spell because it's unknown. For going second, I've got 3 Fuwa, 3 Droplet, and 3 Evenly. I think those are fairly valid going second take cards. And then for going first, 3 Solemn Judgment. No, 3 Dragon's Mind. If you're unfamiliar, this is a card that, if I can get it, that reads... When a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated while you control a monster with 2500 original attack or defense, so pretty much any of our Blue Eyes cards, really, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. And then if it's in your graveyard, you can pay 2500 life points to basically reset it, but then banish it when it leaves the field again. So this is basically kind of like a combination of Solemn Judgment and Solemn Strike for the deck. The only requirement is that we have to have a monster with 2500 attack or defense, which is so incredibly easy with our deck. Blue Eye Spirit Dragon, Magnamut, Blue Eyes himself, so many different monsters in our deck have the ability to make this card live. So, great going first card. I would probably side this out for Super Poly. If I'm going first, I would side out Super Poly and side this in. But yeah, with that, that is the entire deck, guys.